Hey everyone, Data here, and welcome to the NHL 25 career simulation of St. Louis Blues rookie Jimmy Snuggerud. This sim was completed actually a couple of months ago, but I was waiting for Snuggerud to make his NHL debut in the real world, and with the Blues signing Snuggerud to his entry-level contract about a week ago, which has been followed by him registering an assist through his first 2 NHL games so far, it felt like the perfect time to publish his career sim. Snuggerud was drafted 23rd overall by the Blues in the 2022 draft and has spent the last 3 seasons with the University of Minnesota, where he has scored 135 points in 119 games. During that time, Snuggerud has also represented the USA twice at the World Junior Championships, scoring 21 points across 13 total games, as he helped the team to bronze and gold medal finishes in 2023 and 2024 respectively. Dover Prospects describes Snuggerud as an all-around winger with good speed and an array of deadly shots in his repertoire. Has all it needs to become a dominant player in the NHL. Now, the question is, will that reality come to pass? We'll find out today as we simulate through his career. And speaking of that sim, a huge thank you goes out to Golden Gamer who completed this sim for us. Drop a thank you for him in the comments, and while you're there, let me know whose career you would like to see simulated next. So with all that said, let's get started. As always, everything in the simulation is completely hands-off, as we'll do nothing but observe how Snuggerud's career unfolds. Don't forget to subscribe to not miss out on any career sims or our franchise mode series among our many other videos and dozens of career sims here on the channel already. Leave a like, and let's get this career started. So to begin Jimmy Snuggerud's career in NHL 25, we'll have him as a 77 overall with medium top 6 potential to start the 2024-25 season, which of course was spent in the real world almost entirely at the University of Minnesota, but because the game does not have the rights to the NCAA, we had to create Jimmy Snuggerud. Here are the attributes that I gave him to begin his career. Don't worry too much about the player type. I'm calling him a two-way forward, but you might say, oh, he's more of a sniper or whatever. Hey, I don't even disagree with you, but player type really doesn't mean all that much in NHL 25, so worry more about the attributes. As you can see, 3.5-star shooting right there now at the age of 20 to begin 24-25, the 3.5-star skating as well. Because the game does not have the rights to the NCAA, the game put him in the AHL for the 24-25 season. I'm not going to be counting these stats toward his career, but if you are curious, he was a 77 to start and ended as a 79 as he had 21 goals and 45 assists in the AHL. So over the course, let's say, of his year at the University of Minnesota, moving into the 2025-26 season, he ended off in April of 2025, which is where we find ourselves now in the real world at time of upload. He's now up to a 79 overall, which makes a lot more sense. And now he'll be ready for his rookie season, which will be 2025-26. So to begin year number 1 of Jimmy Snuggerud's NHL career, he finds himself up to an 81 overall and on the right wing of the third line here in St. Louis, alongside Zach Bolduc and Alexandre Texier. Up in an 81 overall, he's now listed as a depth forward. Okay, still with the medium top 6 potential. He's on the first year of his entry-level contract and already has some attributes that stand out as his shooting has continued to grow, still at 3.5 stars. You see his puck skills at 4 stars, 90 aggressiveness as well, 85 strength, 4-star skating. Very nice for the third line rookie season. In that rookie season, the St. Louis Blues unfortunately don't make the postseason, finishing 23rd in the NHL with a 500 record, going 37, 37, and 8. In that rookie season, Jimmy Snuggerud plays in 78 games and scores 9 goals and 15 assists, just 24 points, and a negative 25 as well. So the ice time likely wasn't too great. As you can see right here, just 11-12 of ice time per night. But he does grow to an 82 overall over the course of the season, now listed as a third line scoring forward. Attributes also growing as well. Now 4-star shooting to go along with the 4-star puck skills, the 4-star skating. So although it wasn't a huge standout rookie season, it was a good step of growth moving into his sophomore year. And now in that sophomore year, Jimmy Snuggerud has broken into the top 6 in St. Louis, which I think is very possible for 2026-27. Now on the right wing of the second line, still with Bolduc as his center, but now Dylan Holloway on his left wing. By the way, you can see the top line in St. Louis, Bushnevich, Thomas, Kyrou, but he now displaces Mathieu Joseph in the top 6. So Jimmy Snuggerud, let's see what you can do with some improved ice time, my friend. The attributes look great now at 5-star puck skills, 92 passing, 90 puck control, 5-star skating, 93 acceleration. Very nice to see with the 4-star shooting to boot. But the Blues sadly have an even worse season in the year number 2 for Snuggerud, as they finish 36, 42, and 4th, now finish 28th in the NHL. Now the good news is Snuggerud had a solid sophomore season, scoring 21 goals and 31 assists for 52 points in 81 games, and was just a negative 6, which is much better than the negative 25 he had last year. At the end of the season, having averaged 16-20 of ice time, he's still an 83 overall, and I would think that growth will be consistent over the offseason. And yes, moving into year number 3, Jimmy Snuggerud is now an 86 overall. Awesome. Still the exact same top 6 for the Blues, as Snuggerud is centered by Zach Boldzuk and Holloway's over on the left. Some X factors being grown on his line, but none for Snuggerud yet, who is now officially listed as a second line forward. 5-star puck skills, 5-star skating, 4-star shooting and senses, 3.5 defense, and 3-star physical. Despite the 92 aggressiveness, it's the body checking is not very high. 94 durability, all great. It should be an 82 game season, I wonder. Also, the last year of his entry level deal, as he'll move to restricted free agency at the end of this season. And over this third season, the Blues do improve above 500, but still not enough to make the postseason, as they finished 22nd in the league with a record of 39, 38, and 5. Snuggerud, as I just said, his durability was high. No, he plays in 71 out of 82 games, 17 goals, 33 assists, 50 points, and once again a tough plus minus at negative 22, as that second line really stood out. Negative 22, negative 30 for Boldzuk, negative 37 for Holloway. Ouch. At the end of this third season, Holloway's still an 86 overall, moving into when he'll need his first post-entry-level contract. Lots of changes moving into year number 4, as Jimmy Snuggerud is still on the same line in the same top 6 in St. Louis on the right wing of the second line, but now at an 87 overall with high top 6 potential, no longer medium, and he also grew a couple of superstar abilities with the It's Tricky and Skilled Up X factors. The attributes look great, 3.5 star physical now, that joins the other attributes, everything is now 3.5 stars or higher, and he also signed a 2-year bridge deal with the Blues, 2 years at $4.675 per year, paying him $9.35 million, and I believe that will carry him to unrestricted free agency in a couple seasons time, so we'll see what happens in St. Louis. But they're not really making a case for Snuggerud to want to be here, as the Blues once again finished near the bottom of the league, 28th place with a record of 34, 40, and 8. Come on now. Snuggerud does play in all 82 games and finishes third in team scoring with 21 goals and 37 assists for 58 points. Once again, a negative player at negative 12, and not as bad as the negative 30s that we were seeing last year and everything. At the end of this 4th season, the attributes look great. There's a lot of potential there to unlock, but the Blues are not unlocking it. All right, get ready for year number 5 in St. Louis, as Jimmy Snuggerud is now up to an 88 overall and has grown 3 more superstar abilities. He's still on the right wing of the second line with Boldzuk, Bushnevich now on the left wing, as he has been demoted and Holloway has been promoted. Okay, but still the same names in the top 6 as always. At an 88 overall, second line forward, high top 6. All the attributes 3.5 stars or higher, defense up to 4 stars, love that. And the superstar ability is now listed as It's Tricky, Skilled Up, Bounce Back, Yoink, and Third Eye. On the last year of his contract, which might bring him to unrestricted free agency, Jimmy Snuggerud is at the best he's ever been, but the Blues still aren't at their best, as they finished 23rd in the NHL, again with a 500 record, going just 38, 38, and 6. That top 6 in St. Louis just hasn't been able to get it done, as Snuggerud now finishes second in team scoring with a career high 30 goals, 40 assists, and 70 points, just negative 6 as well, just playing in all 82 games. But look at this team, just not able to get much going at all. It's a great year from Snuggerud, leading the team in goals and everything, especially in a contract year. 88 overall, listed as a first line forward, high top 6 potential. Look at these attributes, but will he want to extend long-term in St. Louis after they haven't even been close to sniffing the postseason through 5 years? Moving into year number 6, the answer is no. Jimmy Snuggerud does not want to stick around in St. Louis anymore. 5 years of finishing around 500 or below, and Jimmy Snuggerud has decided to sign a 5-year contract in free agency with the Vancouver Canucks. 5 years at $11.885 million per season with a full no trade clause, paying him just under $60 million. As an 87 overall, he'll be on the right wing of the first line finally with the Canucks. Elias Pettersson centering that line, and Niels Höglander on the first line left wing. So that'll be an exciting time for Snuggerud, as he now for some reason dropped back to an 87 overall list as a second line forward, but he gets his payday. He's getting to play first line minutes. The physical is what dropped back down to 3 stars, but look at everything else, still as high as always. But the Vancouver Canucks do not have any more success than St. Louis did, as the Canucks finish second last in the league with a record of 29, 46, and 7. Oh my goodness. Snuggerud once again finishes second in team scoring, but look at this. 75 games, 15 goals after he scored 30 last year, 42 assists, 57 points, -9. Look at Elias Pettersson, 92 overall Elias Pettersson, just 56 points on the year. Yes, in 65 games, but still. So Elias Pettersson going down due to injury definitely didn't help, but I don't think they were close to the postseason anyways. Fiala just 45 points. What a crazy simulation season for Vancouver. As Snuggerud sits at an 87 overall, injured to end the season as well. Career high in ice time at 21:39 per night, but really not a lot to be proud of at all after that first year with the Canucks. So let's try and forget that and run things back in year number 7 as Jimmy Snuggerud is now down to an 86 overall even, my goodness, but still in the first line right wing in Vancouver with Pettersson and now Strong. This guy an 87 overall prospect on that first line. All right, as an 86 overall with now the exact top 6 potential, listed as a second line forward. He has the 4-star shooting, the 5-star skating, all that we've seen, but it seems as though the 3-star physical will likely be locking in around now. He might be stuck around 86 for the rest of his career because of those couple of lackluster seasons when he could have been more at the 88 range. I digress though. Vancouver, after finishing second last year, finished 27th in Snuggerud's second season as a Canuck, going 35, 45, and 2. 27th place finish. Oh boy. Snuggerud, again, second in team scoring, a good improvement on the year, 66 points, but the rest of the team nowhere to be seen. Elias Pettersson scores just 62 points in 82 games. Wow. Negative 15 on the year for Snuggerud, who scores 23 goals and 43 assists in 80 games. Stuck in 86 overall, even higher ice time now at 21:49. Attributes looking like this. And by the way, over in St. Louis, Snuggerud's old buddy, Bold Zook, winning the Selke Trophy. So, hey, congrats to him. Big changes in Vancouver moving into year number 8 as Jimmy Snuggerud has grown back to an 87 overall. That's great, but no more Elias Pettersson in Vancouver as the new first-line center for the Canucks is Kirby Dach at an 86 overall. That guy Strong is still an 87 over on the left, but then look at the center depth here in Vancouver. Second-line center, it's Panamarov at an 80 overall. Frederick, third-line, 81. I can't say my expectations are very high for this Canucks team, but you never know what happens here in EA land. Snuggerud at an 87 overall. I guess his aggressiveness went from 91 to 92. Small changes, but pretty much for the most part, that 4-star shooting and 5-star skating and puck skills will always be there. But no, Vancouver does not have any improvement whatsoever, and this has been the worst team performance of Snuggerud's career as Vancouver finishes 32nd, dead last in the league, going 22, 50, and 10, a 54-point season. Snuggerud consistently still second in team scoring, but the team is led by Höglander's 54 points. Can you put this through your head? 54 points leads the team in scoring? Snuggerud scores 18 goals and 32 assists for 50 points in 82 games as a negative 35. Another season of 21:49 of ice time, but I don't know what to say. Snuggerud could be so successful right now, but at the age of 28, with these attributes, he has seen no team success whatsoever. There's some improvement in Vancouver moving into year number 9 as David Pastrnak joins the team. The Dach brothers are in the top 6. The overalls aren't great, but yeah. Strong's up to an 89, and Snuggerud is at an 86 now at the age of 29. Here his attributes moving into his 9th NHL season. And hey, what a surprise. The Canucks finish, once again, dead last in the league, now going 20, 52, and 10. 52 regulation losses. Wow, this is very impressive in the worst possible way. Jimmy Snuggerud, for the first time in his career, leads his team in scoring 18 goals and 35 assists for just 53 points in 82 games. It's a negative 36. Pastrnak, 49 points. I am at a total loss with this Canucks team. One of the worst teams we've ever seen in a career sim. And moving into the last year of his contract in Vancouver, I really hope it's going to be his final season as a Canuck. Okay, year number 10, let's get this over with. Jimmy Snuggerud on the first line in Vancouver with Dach at an 84, Strong at an 89, Zetterlund's there at an 86. That guy, there's an 86 overall on the fourth line. Whatever, this horribly managed team. Let's just get into it. It's the final year of that 5-year deal he signed in free agency post St. Louis. I really hope he leaves after this one. And it is a third consecutive dead last finish for the Canucks. Hey, they don't lose 52 games though. They lost 41 this time. They go 28, 41, and 13 for a third consecutive dead last finish. Snuggerud with one of the worst seasons in a while that he's had. 15 goals, 28 assists, and 43 points as a negative 41 through all 82 games. Still an 86 overall. Here are his attributes, and let's please cross your fingers, cross your toes for him to walk in unrestricted free agency. Thank goodness, moving into year number 11, Jimmy Snuggerud leaves the dumpster fire of Vancouver and signs with a fellow Canadian Western Conference team, the Winnipeg Jets. As an 85 overall, he'll now play second line right wing with Aturatu, an 80 overall, centering the second line, and Cole Perfetti, an 83 on his left. It's a decent first line, but that's an ugly second line, and not the greatest forward core, I have to admit, for the Winnipeg Jets. But it's a 4-year deal with a 4-team modified no-trade clause, paying him $8.915 million per season, so about $35.6 million being given to Jimmy Snuggerud over the course of this contract. He's now down to an 85 overall. He's lost some X factors, only has 2 left now. Here are his attributes moving into his age 31 season. Still the 5-star skating and puck skills, but a few other things are getting a little wonky. The 80 stick checking doesn't help for sure. The defensive awareness is high, but whatever, I digress. And for the first time in Jimmy Snuggerud's career, he will see the postseason finally, as Winnipeg finishes 14th in the NHL with a record of 43, 35, and 4. It only took over a decade, but Jimmy Snuggerud will finally make the postseason. And in his first year as a Jet, he scores 21 goals and 36 assists for 57 points in 81 games. Still a tough plus minus at a negative 19. Look at Perfetti and Ratu, negative 25 and 28 respectively. Oh my goodness. But he is postseason bound. And in the playoffs, Winnipeg does win round 1 against the better Chicago Blackhawks, who won the Central Division. That was a 7-game series, but the Jets then drop in 7 in round 2 against the Nashville Predators, who fall to the Oilers, who go on to win the 2036 Stanley Cup. But hey, it was a great experience for Snuggerud, and surprisingly, great job for him. He leads the team in scoring in the playoffs. Snuggerud scores 4 goals and 9 assists for 13 points in 14 games, and even plus minus as well. He must have been saving that performance up for years, and he delivered in the postseason. Sadly, the Jets weren't strong enough. Like Brad Lambert, first line center, 6 points, negative 12. They couldn't make it to the Western Conference Final, but still a second round Game 7 appearance. 85 overall for Snuggerud to end off 2035-36, with his attributes looking like this, headed to his second year as a Jet. Year number 12, and the Jets are running back the same top 6 here in Winnipeg as Snuggerud continues to play second line right wing at an 85 overall. Ratu grows from 80 to 81, and Perfetti drops from 83 to 82, so hey, I guess that balances out. 85 overall, here are those attributes. And the Winnipeg Jets not only make the postseason, but finish second in the NHL. Snuggerud, who's used to seeing 50 losses, gets to see his first 50-win season. The Jets win the Western Conference and finish second best in the league, going 50, 24, and 8, the winningest season that Snuggerud has ever been a part of. And he does have a very solid statistical season as well, scoring 25 goals and 35 assists for 60 points in a fully healthy 82-game campaign. Even plus minus as well this season. Snuggerud has not seen 60 in a while, so let's cross those fingers for the postseason. But the Jets fall in round 1 to Utah, who goes on to win the 2037 Stanley Cup. So at least you can say you lost against the Cup champs, but it's hard to do so in 5 games in round 1. Brutal. Snuggerud did continue to perform in the postseason, 4 assists in 5 games, negative 4, but tied for second in team scoring at an 85 overall, still maintaining those same attributes as always, moving into what will be his 3rd year as a Jet. Year number 13 now, and for the first time since his rookie season, Jimmy Snuggerud has been dropped down to the 3rd line. I have no idea why. It's the same first line in Winnipeg. Ratu and Perfetti are both gone. The second line is now Kakko, Ogren, and Reed, who are 79 to 82 overall. And Snuggerud at an 84, yes, he's dropped, is playing 3rd line with Sachin, who's an 81, and Frank, who's an 80. Questionable decision. Snuggerud has dropped down to an 84 overall and only has 1 superstar ability left, but he's still listed as a second line forward. Yes, the puck skills are down to 4.5 stars, but the shooting is still as what it's always been. His aggressiveness is still high. We'll see what happens for Winnipeg. And you know what? They still make the postseason. They finished 9th place in the league, going 45, 31, and 6. After not seeing the playoffs for the first 10 years of his career, Snuggerud has now been there for his 3rd year in a row. That's awesome. And you know what? In a 3rd line role, he still had a 50-point season. 18 goals, 32 assists, 50 points in 82 games. A +1 even. A +1. So at least there's that after all the negatives he has seen. And in the postseason, the Jets fall in 7 games in round 1, as Utah would actually go on to win back-to-back Stanley Cups here, as Seattle beat them in 7 games in the first round before dropping to Edmonton, who fell to Utah. So that's now 1 second round and 2 first round exits for Snuggerud as a Jet the last 3 seasons. In that first round matchup, Snuggerud was non-existent. 1 assist and a -3 in 7 games. After he had been very good the last 2 postseasons, horrible in this 3rd one. At the age of 34, he still maintains the 85 overall, back up from 84 at the start of the season. Attributes looking like this, now down to 2.5-star physical, the stuff that you'll see with age, 4.5-star skating, but puck skills back up to 5 to compensate, shooting at 90 accuracy on the wrist shot, so the game kind of does that to try and balance things out. But moving into his last year as a Jet, we'll see if that's enough for Snuggerud to get back into the top 6. Yes, year number 14 sees Snuggerud return to the top 6 here in Winnipeg, now playing alongside Brad Lambert and Liam Ogren. He has dropped down to an 83 overall and no longer has any superstar abilities at the age of 34, but still listed as a second-line forward. Here are his attributes as well, down to 2.5-star physical and everything. That will continue to go no matter what. And keep in mind, also in the final year of that 4-year contract he signed back after he left Vancouver, can it be a 4th consecutive postseason berth for the Jets? No, sadly not, as they finished 21st in the league, going 38, 36, and 8. 4 for 4 on winning seasons, but just 3 for 4 on making the postseason. As Jimmy Snuggerud still scored 53 points over the years, been very consistent, always in those 50s. 22 goals, 31 assists in 82 games, negative 18, back to the negatives, sadly. Bringing Snuggerud to the end of his contract and potentially to unrestricted free agency. Still at an 83 overall, having played 17 minutes over the course of the season. Will he end up re-signing in Winnipeg, or does he walk once more to test out the waters? And test he does, moving into year number 15 as Jimmy Snuggerud signs a 1-year contract with the Florida Panthers, moving east for the first time in his career so far. Now back up to an 84 overall, that's great. He signs for 1 year at $4.48 million. Definitely taking a bit of a pay cut, but he'll be playing second line right wing in Florida with former Blues teammate Dylan Holloway centering that second line and Yari Slavkovsky over on the left wing at an 82. Interesting. Not the greatest overalls here, but better than some of the teams that he's been on before. At an 84 overall, still listed as a second line forward, he has dropped down to having top 9 potential now. 5-star puck skills and skating, all right, that's back. 3-star physical, that's back. So you know what, if I'm Jimmy Snuggerud at 35 years old, I'm feeling pretty good about myself, and I'm feeling even better when Florida makes the postseason with a 100-point campaign, as the Panthers finish 9th in the NHL with a 47, 29, and 6 record. Jimmy Snuggerud finishes 3rd in team scoring. How do you like me now? 21 goals, 40 assists, and 61 points, +1 in 82 games. If Snuggerud could do this at 35, imagine what he could have done at like 27 in Vancouver if he just had a competent team around him, but I digress. Moving into his 4th postseason in the last 5 years, the Florida Panthers are Stanley Cup champions! As Jimmy Snuggerud and the Panthers go all the way to win the 2040 Stanley Cup, beating the Rangers in 6, the Penguins in 6, Battle of Florida beating the Lightning in the Eastern Conference Final in 5, and then sweeping out the Nashville Predators in a 4-game series to make Jimmy Snuggerud a Stanley Cup champion in his 15th NHL season at the age of 36. In just his 4th postseason berth of his career, Jimmy Snuggerud is a Stanley Cup champion, and he definitely contributed to get there, as he scored 7 goals and 10 assists for 17 points as a +7 through those 21 games on the Panthers' way to capturing the Stanley Cup. What incredible news. So glad that he gets a Stanley Cup after all the pain that he went through, especially in Vancouver. Got close-ish with Winnipeg, but now goes all the way with the Panthers. A 1-year contract. He's a Stanley Cup champion, now drops down to an 82 overall. This is a 3rd-line scorer. Attributes looking like this, as he'll potentially see unrestricted free agency again, but nothing can take away the fact that he is a Stanley Cup champion. Moving into year number 16, after winning the Cup in Florida, Jimmy Snuggerud goes back to free agency and signs a 2-year deal with the Seattle Kraken, now moving back out west. 2 years at $4.045 million per year to just pay him under $8.1 million at now 36 years of age. He'll be playing 3rd-line right wing for the Kraken with Heinonen at 78 and Chiodo at 79 on his line alongside him. So not the greatest overalls, but it's a really good first line, especially 88, 96, 91 overalls on the first line there for the Kraken. So at least there's that to be excited about. 82 overall, listed as a 3rd-line scoring forward, now bottom 6 potential. That might continue to drop quite quickly, especially when you see the 2-star physical now for him. Okay, 3.5-star skating as well, as that was just at 5 stars this time last year. But moving into year number 16, the Kraken do indeed have a strong year, winning the Pacific Division, 9th best in the NHL with a 45, 31, and 6 record. Snuggerud in a 3rd-line role finishes 5th in team scoring, or tied for 5th, I should say, especially with first-liner Ethan Belchetz. Snuggerud had 21 goals and 33 assists for 54 points in 82 games to -6. And I would think really surprised a lot of people with that offensive output, moving into another postseason berth where the Kraken go all the way to the Western Conference Final, but Snuggerud cannot repeat as a Stanley Cup champion, as the Kraken take down the Preds in 5, sweep through his old team, the Canucks, in 4, but then fall in 7 to the Wild to go on to lose in 6 to the Penguins. 1 win away from back-to-back Stanley Cup final appearances, but still a successful year for Snuggerud and the Kraken, as Snuggerud scored 7 points and was a -4 through those 16 games, and still sits at an 82 overall with bottom 6 potential at the age of 37. Year number 17 now for Snuggerud, who is still playing third line right wing in Seattle, still centered by a 78 overall, now with Beckett Seneca on the left wing as an 84, but he himself has dropped down to a 79 overall. Still listed as a third line scoring forward, but with AHL top 6 potential. So 1.5 star physical and all that, not going to be helping sadly. But you know what? With 86 passing, 3.5 star shooting, he might still find a way in the last year of this contract with the Kraken, which might carry him to retirement at this age and overall. We'll find out. And in year number 17, the Kraken have a fantastic season, finishing atop the NHL with 105 points and a 48, 25, and 9 record. 17 years later, Snuggerud is finally a part of his first President's Trophy winning team. After all that pain, 3 years in a row finishing dead last, finally gets to see a President's Trophy. And you know what? At 79 overall, he still puts up 50 points. 16 goals, 34 assists, and 50 points in 81 games now at 37 years of age. Again, Belchet's on the first line scores 51, and Snuggerud at his age and overall and role scores 50. So just to say, he really showed up for the Kraken, who are loving having him in the lineup. And in the postseason, the Kraken fall in round 2. Once again, winning a postseason round as it took down one of Snuggerud's old team, the Jets, in 6 games, but then fell in 5 to the Sharks, who went on to lose in the Stanley Cup Final to the Flyers in 5 themselves. In those 11 postseason games, Snuggerud scored 2 goals and 2 assists for 4 points and a -3, and is now a 78 overall, listed as a depth forward with AHL top 6 potential. Moving into the 2042 offseason, which might see retirement, or it might see maybe one more go after a 50-point season. Let's see what the offseason has in store for Snuggerud. Moving into year number 18, Jimmy Snuggerud does not find any teams that want to play him in their full-time NHL lineup, but he says, I love this game too much, I'm not ready to retire yet, and he signs a 1-year deal with the Vegas Golden Knights, a 2-way deal, paying him $1.055 million to be sent down to Henderson and play with the Silver Knights, where he's going to be a 77 overall on the second line for the AHL team, helping some of the youngsters who are out there. I'm not sure what the overalls of these, or the potentials of these players are, but the 38-year-old will play second line right wing as a 77 with the depth forward role, AHL top 6 potential, 3-star skating, 3-star defense, 1.5 star physical, but still the 3.5 star puck skills, senses, and shooting. And in year number 18 down in the AHL, Henderson just misses out on the postseason, finishing 15th in the American Hockey League, going 40, 31, and 1. Solid year to finish 15th place, but not enough to make the postseason, as Snuggerud finishes second in team scoring with just 13 goals but 49 assists for 62 points through 68 games to finish his 18th year of hockey, now as a 76 overall, listed as a minor scoring forward. Will it be time for retirement with his attributes looking like this? We'll see what his decision is in the 2043 offseason. And in the 2043 offseason, at the age of 39, Jimmy Snuggerud has decided to call it a career, retiring with 1,367 games played, scoring 331 goals and 577 assists for a total of 908 points through 17 NHL seasons and 18 years overall. Shout out to Connor Bedard, who retired with 1,010 goals, and that guy Fuller with 936. Oh my goodness, Bedard almost 2,000 points. All right. So Snuggerud retires at a 74 overall, 1-star physical, 2.5 star skating. At 39 years old, it's okay to call it a career at that point. We just mentioned what the all-time numbers were, but if you look at some of the best seasons of his career, 2029-30 in St. Louis had to be number 1. 30 goals, 40 assists, 70 points. He did have 4 60-plus point NHL seasons, but this was his one where he hit 70. In the postseason, of course, his best run came with Florida in 2040 as a Cup champion, 17 points in 21 games. It was kind of up and down, like that 1 point in Winnipeg, but then other years he was leading the team or one of the top 3 in points. But in the end, he scored 16 goals and 30 assists for 46 points in 74 postseason games, and of course, a 2040 Stanley Cup champion. And as I always like to do, even though things will change very much in 20 years, if we took these 2043 numbers from Jimmy Snuggerud and put them into the real world 2025 NHL record books, his 1,367 games played would put him 54th all-time behind Teppo Numminen and ahead of Eric Stahl. His 331 goals would put him 185th all-time ahead of Wendell Clark and behind Ron Ellis. His 577 assists would tie him with Saku Koivu for 120th all-time ahead of Scott Gomez and behind Phil Kessel. And his 908 points would tie him for 128th all-time with Scott Stevens, currently ahead of Brent Burns and behind Gary Roberts. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the career of Jimmy Snuggerud, drafted by the Blues in 2022, made his debut in 2025. He played 5 years in St. Louis, 394 games as a Blue, 98 goals, 156 assists, and 254 points. Never made the postseason, walked in free agency, went to Vancouver, where he played 5 seasons as well, 401 games played, so just 7 more as a Canuck, 89 goals, 180 assists, 269 points, slightly better in Vancouver, but horrible team performances, never even got close to the postseason. Walks to Winnipeg, signs a 4-year deal, 327 games played as a Jet, 86 goals, 134 assists, and 220 points, making 3 postseasons, 26 games played in those 3 appearances, 4 goals, 14 assists, 18 points. After that, signs a 1-year deal in Florida, finds the fountain of youth, scores 61 points in 82 games, and in the postseason, 17 points in 21 games as he captures his first and only Stanley Cup championship. After that, goes to Seattle on a 2-year deal, 104 points in 163 games, 2 postseasons, 2 for 2, 11 points in 27 games, and finishes it off in the AHL, Vegas's AHL affiliate, 68 games, 62 points, retiring after 18 seasons, 17 in the NHL, playing 1,367 games, 331 goals, 577 assists, and 908 points. In the playoffs, 74 games, 16 goals, 30 assists, 46 points, and his 82-game career average, if you took his entire career and boiled down to what he did every 82 games, it was 20 goals and 35 assists for 55 points. Very consistent, whether it was his first few seasons or his last few seasons, he was always in that 50-some point range. He had 4 seasons of 60-plus points, but imagine how many more he could have had if he was just on some better teams. In those 18 years, as you see in the top right corner, he made almost $121 million. And in the bottom right, his one honor, aside from being top 10 in whatever franchise numbers, was, of course, the biggest one, the 2040 Stanley Cup Championship. So there you have it, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed the career of Jimmy Snuggerud. Let me know in the comments down below what parts are realistic. What do you think he might do better or worse through his career? Do you think he'll stick around in St. Louis longer than just 5 seasons? And of course, whose career do you want to see simulated next? So leave a like, subscribe, hit that bell to be notified when those career sims come your way. We have all of our franchise mode series here on the channel between NHL, MLB, recorded, live stream, dozens of career sims that have already been done and are ready for you to watch. So check out the playlist here at the end of the video. If you enjoyed this, then you'll enjoy a lot of the rest of what we do here on the channel. So we'd love to have you join the team. It could be that much stronger with you as a part of it. Thanks again for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you once again in the next one.